Welcome to episode 53 of the Slabbed podcast, where the grades matter and there are no rules. How you doing, Professor Oak?
53. Amazing. How are you doing?
Oh man, it's been a hell of a week. Looking forward to get back into it. Lots have happened. Sad. I've shed a lot of tears for the football that occurred over the weekend. Oh, it's dark. It's dark right now, man. But yeah,
I love it. Well, yeah, same for me. I've been busy. Good week, good weekend. I feel like I haven't been sick in a couple of weeks for once. So I actually feel okay at the moment. Just a little tired from the baby waking me up, but yeah, I'm excited. Next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be going live for a interactive Slabbed podcast with the live stream chat. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys. Listen to some real-time spicy topics and have a little bit of fun. So that'll be exciting.
We will not be filling binders this time. We will. It'll be an actual podcast episode, just live. So looking forward to that. That'll be pretty sick. So hope to see you guys there. Definitely tune in. Leave some spicy comments at the end of this video, the bottom of this video, and then they could make their way into the live. We'll see if we have time to get into those, but if not, it might be the week after.
Love it. So it's going to be fun. I can just already tell there's going to be a lot of good energy in that chat.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I'm looking forward to it. Our boy Mason Berry, CNA Gaming, Cardinal Gaming. He had won the spicy comment last week handily. Like he had 16 or something, and second place was 10 or 8. He had a pretty good one. He had said people in this space spend too much time trying to anticipate market changes rather than adapting to changes as they happen. What do you think? I know it's kind of right up your alley. What are your thoughts, Mr. Berry's spicy comment?
I mean, it's the problem you've got is a lot of people only know what they know. So, it's talking about anticipating market changes rather than just adapt with that. Absolutely. I think most people, probably 99% of people, are doing that. They're just trying to guess with what info they have. And most people don't have a lot of info. They don't know what the next set is coming and all the cards in it. And they don't know what the next big thing is going to be. And then we're all kicking ourselves. Oh, why didn't I buy more of that sealed? Why didn't I buy more of those singles? I didn't know that one was going to kick off. I just feel like that's just so difficult to do in that sense. But on the flip side, he's got the business aspect built into the latter part of the equation there, because does it matter? If you can make money, if you can still carry on buying and chopping and changing and doing it, takes a bit more effort, a bit more energy. You can't just buy something and sit in it knowing it's going to go up. You have to actually work it and work with it, and research and see where trends are going and that kind of stuff. So a little bit more hands-on, which someone in a game store, someone who's an online seller, probably has more time and more dedication and patience for. So that it makes sense coming from him, and I agree on both parts. Honestly, I think it's useful advice, I would say, to just carpe diem. Shout out PK. Carpe diem. Just do it. Just seize the day. Go for it. Go make money. What about you?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand it, to be honest. When it says people in the space spend too much time trying to anticipate market changes, so anticipating something meaning I'm going to buy this early, guessing that it will go up in price.
Yeah.
I do that. Okay. He says I spend too much time doing that. I probably do. And I'm trying to understand what the latter is here. Rather than adapting to changes as they happen. So what the F does that mean? So changes in my, I'm not grasping
I think it's
what he's trying to say there.
Yeah, I think it's talking almost like business practice wise, kind of like Dan. Dan's spoken it a few times on how he does it. Hey, I'm buying the specific Eevee promo, the dingbat artwork on that. $10. Buying it for $10, selling it for 20. They go up to 20. Like, great, it's selling them at 20. And then they start going up to 25. He buys them at 20 and starts selling them at 25. They can't always be. It's like almost like two different statements there. Like, we do that, but we probably should be doing a bit more of like being okay with doing that too, with being dynamic with it, when the prices change. Because I know some people will go, say they didn't get, like, I didn't know that Eevee promo was going to go up to $20. Oh, I should have bought it. Okay, we'll buy it now. Like, if you think it could potentially still go up more, you can still make money. Maybe it'll go up to 25, maybe it'll go up to 30. But they're like focused on anticipating it right at the start and where it would have gone and stuff, rather than, okay, it's changed, it's gone down, okay, liquidate, move that money into something different. You don't have to sit in it and wait for it to go back up. I think it's just saying, like, try and be more dynamic and less straight and narrow with it,
Yeah,
that's how I get it.
For me, I disagree, but I ain't got as much time as I'd like. So
big factor.
I try to anticipate market trends and let it ride. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And that's kind of what I was saying. I think the time investment really is plays a major role in that for sure.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more deep into it, I feel like.
Come on then, give me some spice for next week.
Pal World video game will be dead in a year and a half, and the TCG will be the only thing alive.
Okay, so was my spicy comment right last week? Or whatever comment it was. I said they're going to make a TCG.
No, that wasn't your spicy comment.
It wasn't my spicy. It was a.
You had said it though.
Comment, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the CEO like posted a picture or something of some cards.
Like the day after. I was like,
are you freaking kidding me?
It's coming.
So funny. As soon as I saw it take off, I was like, they've just got to do something with that. Like, everyone does. It's almost expected, I think.
8 million copies sold in 6 days.
Yep. I heard it here first, guys.
Dead in a year and a half. What's your spicy comment?
I actually slightly similar. Mine was focused a little more on like what we're going to discuss next. But I think rather than there being a birth of a TCG, I actually think another TCG is probably going to die this year. That's my spicy topic.
Another one. Okay.
Another one.
Yep. Odds are there's too damn many of them. That's the problem. And speaking of too damn many of them, RIP to our boys. Yeah, one down the hatches. Metazoo. Haven't commented on it. I've watched a few videos. A lot of people posting a bunch of stuff, and I guess, yeah. So those of you that don't know, Metazoo had closed its doors technically officially, and then they uploaded their Instagram. It's available, and that's down again. I don't even know. There's too much going on really to get too deep into it. I'm not going to comment really on that whole situation of closing. But yeah, it's like my dealings with it. I've bought and sold graded cards. I've never graded any. So I've had some dealings. I think I have like one graded card left from Metazoo, like a Kickstarter Bigfoot. So I don't have any investments into it. It's been kind of just an onlooker, seeing how things are going. But man, what a situation. What do you think about everything?
I was listening. You mentioned there, like, a lot of people were talking about it. I think it's been a bit of a hot topic because, I don't know, it was like, it's kind of big. Like, even though they obviously weren't selling that many or that profitable, everyone knows about Metazoo. Like, everyone's heard of them. Like, it's in our community, in our hobby, it's like fairly well known what it is. Even the people that don't like it or love it. But I was listening to Nick's Strength and Pokemon. I used to listen to him a lot back in the day, and he just did a video like right after it was announced, and he said exactly what I was saying. It was kind of funny. He was touching on Hello Kitty, like, in that just being the disaster. Like, what were you doing? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it. We had a whole conversation about it on the podcast right here, and and saying like, what, like, seriously, what is that? It doesn't make any sense. He said the same thing, and essentially that he thinks that was their, I guess, straw that broke the camel's back. There's so many other things, but what I didn't realize, I've been in the Discord for quite a while, and I initially was a little bit interactive with it, but it was like a little bit crazy. There was a lot of people there, and it was like moving too fast. There was so many different channels in there, and it was just kind of like, I don't know where to go, what to do in there. So I haven't really used it lately. But apparently, like, there's been a lot of drama with, just in general, people like that were running it being dicks, I guess, and like banning people and like being rude and kind of like throwing their weight around a little bit. So that stuff, like, I think that says a lot about like culture, and I think culture is a big part of any business or any kind of hobby or environment that's created anywhere. You can't have bad culture. Like, it's just not, whatever it is, it's not going to succeed. And it sounds like there was maybe some bad apples connected to Metazoo, and that might have flowed into some of the other areas. I know it's just Discord, it's just where people chat and share pictures or whatever, but it's like almost like part of their marketing, right? Like, it's almost like a marketing principle there, social media in a way. So for word of advice for any other TCGs or hobbies or whatever, be very, very mindful of keeping a good culture in the Discord, because you don't want to end up like Metazoo. People are saying all sorts of stuff are coming out of the woodwork now. Like, they owe money to this person, they don't pay this person, they do this, and I learned a few things this week, which was pretty enlightening. I had no idea. I just figured like not many people liked it and they weren't selling many cards. Like, honestly, I thought it was that simple, but it sounds like there was a bigger picture, maybe some deeper problems than we thought.
Yeah, I think they had some serious problems. One of their biggest problems was they needed a business person to run their business. They had what seemed to be just a couple nerds trying to do it, blowing a lot of money. Sounded a lot like Liquid Marketplace and some of this other crap where these guys are just blowing through money doing stuff. I don't know. When Mike Waddell created the game, he probably should have had like a CEO. Like, he needed to find and hire somebody that knows how to operate a business right off the rip. Pay this dude
Which I thought was Rudy. I thought that's why he was roping Rudy into it, and that didn't turn out to be anything.
And I don't think Rudy's that guy. Rudy just knows how to. He's a sales guy. Like, he could sell product. Like, he's not a CEO. Like, operating a business. That I feel like was their nail in the coffin. Like, they didn't have what they needed, the right structure. They just had dudes putting stuff, the printers on burr, printing stuff as much as they can, making false promises. So there was a lot of bad, a lot of things bad, but also there was a lot of good that Metazoo did that I hope like changed some of the things. Like, the amount of money they were, and they still owe a bunch to some of the prize winners. The amount of money and product that were being promised for some of these tournaments was like completely unheard of, especially even in Pokemon. Like, $250,000 tournaments, $1.2 million tournaments they're talking about. Of course, they've gone under, but all of that seems reasonable. Like, you probably could do some tournaments at that scale with that type of prize structure. I know there are pretty small tournaments, like 100 people, 200 people, which is really small. But then you look at One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, 2,000, 1,000 people tournaments. Man, you're telling me you can't afford like $100,000 to first place or something like that? Like, let's drop some freaking jaws. Like, let's get the marketing for that would be awesome. I feel like just to see that number, you could win 6 digits. It's insane. Yeah, the art and stuff like was really like I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but it's all subjective. But they treated a lot of people like crap. Again, it goes back to the management style and the way they did things. They probably could have did really well. Steve Aoki, I think, was in it, and he did good things. I feel like he probably helped them get into the Targets and the Walmarts and stuff like that, which was some next level stuff for like a Kickstarter TCG. You don't see that. So they had a lot of good things going, but obviously it outweighed all the bad things. So the bad things definitely killed them. I feel bad for all the people that have money and time and stuff invested into it. And I know I also listened to Nick Strength's video, and he's gonna keep on keeping on because they are cryptids, right? They're not like they are still part of culture. Even though the TCG is not really there, he doesn't even play the game. He just likes collecting cryptids. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I couldn't imagine it being purchased by somebody with the way it went out. And Mike Waddell's a bitch for the way he did it. I don't like the way he walked out. Like it felt super rug pulley. At least make a real announcement.
Cold.
Not just a freaking
right?
1-page letter. It's disgusting.
No empathy. I mean, you were just saying that yourselves, like people have spent money on some of this stuff. A lot of time, people have flown. We've got friends that have flown over the country, all over, like to be a part of these things and to spend money and to embrace it and make videos and do tournaments. And it's like, this guy just like didn't care at all. Like there was zero kind of empathy or like love for it. And I think that says a lot about him and why it didn't succeed. I think it speaks volumes to it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pussy.
Why do you think, circling back to the comment you were just saying then about Pokemon not paying like big payouts and stuff for these tournaments when they probably can, right? Realistically, why do you think that is? Do you think they're just trying to keep it more humble and like more game focused or something? Because they do offer some cash, like you do win prizes and trophies and stuff, but why do you think they haven't gotten like serious about it?
I don't think they have to. I think they're the number one played TCG competitively still currently. Nothing really to compete against. And like obviously One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh are kind of banging on the door. Yu-Gi-Oh's never going to pass them. They're just Yu-Gi-Oh's just Yu-Gi-Oh right now. And One Piece possibly could competitively. The way things have been moving. I know my LGS just dropped Pokemon and now they're doing One Piece tournaments. So it could be a competitive thing, but at the same time, companies don't like losing more money. So you're going to have some guy walk into the CEO's office and try to sell to him, hey, we're doing really, really good, but hey, we should get rid of another $300,000 every 3 months to these tournaments. Yeah, good luck. Where are you gonna find 1.2 milli just out of our ass to cover that loss? You're gonna tell the board members we're gonna just give them 1.2 million? No, it's not gonna happen. Like you're gonna have to recover that in some way. It's
probably
a serious number.
Super cheap to organize either, probably because you need staff and organizers and referees, you need location, marketing. I'm sure insurance is probably expensive with that many people in a building. Like I'm sure there's like a lot of different moving pieces just price wise leading up to it and hosting the event before you even pay a penny. But like you said, it's doable. Yeah, you can make it happen if you really want to make it happen. Like people are humble; they just want to play the game. They don't need to be in any fancy room and have silver glove service. Like just want to play the game, have fun, win a bit of money, have a drink with your friends. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious if there is another chapter in the Metazoo story. You mentioned there, like, maybe someone buys them, maybe someone else does something with cryptids similar, actually does it well, or better. I don't know. I think there's potential. But...
Yeah, I hope not. I hope the son of a gun's gone forever, but we'll see. I don't know. I like also their packaging, their booster boxes. It's very clever with um the void stickers on their boxes built into the packaging, which is kind of cool. So Lorcana did not take one out of their book. They kind of just you could pull packs right out of the side of the son of a gun. Yeah. No,
fun artwork on the boxes too. They're like fun looking boxes.
Yeah, they did it's crazy how the amount like they brought in serialization and all this other stuff. Like they did so many different things. Tops had a Tops deal and stuff like that, which is crazy. Wild. So many different things. Plushies, I think they did.
Been a couple of surprises. Yeah, I mean, you've touched on Walmart there and Tops and Hello Kitty. Like they've made some like big moves. Like for something so new, they definitely got people backing them in multiple different ways. And I think a lot of people were, even though they weren't themselves interested in it, I think a lot of people were rooting for them, hoping that things were gonna do well.
Yeah. Do you think other TCGs could have the same demise if, like, for example,
that was my spicy comment.
Yeah. Was it?
That was my spicy topic.
Oh. Well, then we're not going to talk about it because I got it on my notes here in the wrong spot for sure.
Oh, geez. Okay.
That's right. I literally just read right off my notes. But yeah, apparently I blacked out when you're giving your spicy topic, which totally normal. Totally normal. That's just the way it goes. We're doing it live. So yeah, I don't know if anything else on Metazoo. Let sleeping dogs lie, but it's been real Metazoo. It's been quite the journey.
Prices wise, it sounds like people are just going to liquidate. People just want out. I don't think there's anything too exciting in the future of the current stuff.
I'd probably buy a Kickstarter box for $100 just for the memes.
I was looking at TCG Player at the charts, as the market price like the last 2-3 months, whatever it is, and they're all like like every single one of them is just down, like
straight lines,
straight down, just so dramatic. And I was looking at that last night, and I was like, oof. I think I posted one of them in Discord because I was like, guys, like this is, it's quite a drop. Like one of them was selling at like 150 or 160, and it was like last sold was like $40.
Yeah,
I just put up each of the booster boxes, and yeah, it was not pretty.
It's gonna be an interesting ride. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know we probably have a couple of comments in here too about artists. Let's see, the first one is, we talked on that last week.
Yeah.
Just Jack said, in response to Greenie, a good artist can make a bad Pokemon look amazing. Look at Shinji Kanda, Alo Momola, and Sui Nidorina. It's really hard to say that with an English accent. But yes, it's a different way to think. Collect and enjoy. I do also collect spices.
Species.
But enjoying artists more at the moment. Oh, species. God. I was like, spices. I've got a lot of spices too. I've got a cupboard full of them.
Yeah.
That's funny. Species. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people collect species. I mean, you know that well. For me, and we talked about it, I already give my thoughts on like artists, and I have artist binders, I have a couple, and Sao to me is just whatever it is she makes. Like I saw a One Piece picture someone posted that Sao did. I'm like, I want that. It's not even Pokemon. Like I literally like her art. Like her art style is super interesting to me. It's fascinating. I think she's incredible, absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's you got to be born this way type of thing. I don't think it's just not in my brain at all to want to collect an artist in his style. Ken Sugimori, care less. Arita, care less. I don't know, like the Shinji Kanata, whatever that is, Sui Netarina. I'm all set. I don't like either of those Pokemon. Yeah, I just you guys do you. Collect what you like. If you like collecting artists, collect your goddamn artist. I don't really give a shit. Um, but yeah, I only like collect the Pokemon I like, and I'm not gonna go collect a Weedle if it was drawn by my favorite artist, which doesn't exist. So it is what it is. Godspeed. Like it's all art. It's all opinionated. Do whatever you want to do. All right. Mr. Pokey Collectibles 13297643209. I added a couple numbers there. He said Pokemon card sellers in the US are on easy mode. 1000%. I would say I'm curious how much of the sales, you could probably look up a metric, maybe on eBay, how much Pokemon's consumed in the US versus everywhere else. I would probably go to say 70 to 80% of sales of Pokemon product is done in the US. Maybe 70. I'll put it at 70.
It's tricky.
And
that's tricky because you have people that can buy from US eBay, but in other countries they have their own eBay too. Like this ebay.co.uk, I believe. So
yeah.
I don't know if
the global shipping program is what we have and everybody does it, and everyone's sad they don't have. It's huge. Me being able to ship to anywhere for pretty much the same price as anything else, $5 is amazing. So
one card 63 cents. Like sometimes I'll sell a single 60 cents, throw it in a thank you card, in a card sleeve. They've made it very, very easy. But I also think that's because there's such a big market for it. I think that plays into it a lot too. Like there must be a ridiculous amount sold. I heard one of the eBay guys, he like heads up, literally like runs collectibles on eBay, like their collectibles program. And he said it was like 10% of their sales or something. It was like 10 or 12% of the sales were trading cards, which is insane. Like that's a ridiculous amount of stuff. So that's why they're making it easy, because they can make a crap ton of money. And so does USPS, so does FedEx, so does, you know what I mean? Like everyone's taking their cut from it, so they all want to make it easy. It's great. Yeah, win-win.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once, because it's got to happen eventually. Some other global shipping programs for like the UK and Australia, maybe Germany, like some of these other major countries. They'll get some version of it in the next 5 years, I would think. Canada.
Yeah, but shipping wasn't so expensive.
Yeah, I just shipped something to Canada through eBay shipping program, and the guy, after the dude got the card, he sent me an email. He's like, dude, he's like, they charged me so much for shipping, I need money back. I'm like, this was through the eBay shipping program. I literally copy and pasted the freaking like T's and C's. I'm like, if you have a problem, you need to go talk to eBay. Like, sorry, bud. Wish there was something I could do for you. Good luck leaving a negative feedback. Yeah.
I had one. I sold a slab through it, and the box got smashed up, and the slab was like smashed, like the card was completely ruined. But they messaged me like, hey, like how do I return this? And I was like, oh, you bought it through the shipping program. You have to actually reach out to eBay through, like, you'll probably have a drop down saying item damaged or something, and they'll take care of you. He was like, okay, thanks. And I never heard anything. So yeah, I think they just took care of him or whatever. But I still don't think that's super clear, like, on how that stuff works. I don't think it's marketed very well on how any of the little nuances of the program really work, especially on the buyer's end.
Yeah, they still go to the seller first. And the seller's like, no clue. Can't do nothing on my end. It's kind of blocked out. So good luck. Yeah, that's weird. I just got an email a minute ago that I got my 1099 from eBay. Finally. I don't know what took them so long.
Need to check if it's on mine yet. Okay. Ditto Faction. For the first time in about 20 years, we will see a decrease in overall Pokemon card production in the 2025 report. The next report comes this March, and that will show either close to the same or slight tick up. Okay, so Ditto Faction's thinking it'll be similar or maybe slightly better this year for the past 12 months. And then next March, for the next 12 months, would be worse. It would decrease. It'll be selling less. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Not much to say about that. I can see that.
I don't know. I feel like Scarlet and Violet video games sold very well, being the number 3 selling video game. So I feel like the interest is there. There is way more supply at the beginning of this era than the prior era. Because the prior era came out just before COVID, So the print runs were lower and stuff like that. So I know it is higher now. So it doesn't seem like it seems like it's being overprinted, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's not going to go down much. And if it does, it would be because there is like a lot of issues and the prices are dropping through the floor. But $100 booster boxes is not bad. They don't probably have the need to reprint a whole bunch of stuff, which is probably a nice thing they have for the first time in a while. And they maybe could reprint some older stuff because they might have some. They're like, okay, people are buying these. They're still about $100. That's cool. Let's reprint Evolving Skies or Lost Origin or some of these other sets because we have time. That might have been why they printed Evolutions for 4 years. They probably just had freaking time to print stuff because the current wasn't just flying off the shelves being consumed. So I wouldn't be shocked to see some of that more reprints start happening for stuff they know will sell. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go down. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be closer than we think. Thank you, Mr. Ditto Faction. Katie Lowen. She said, Lil Pokemon figures are greater than Pokemon cards.
That's so many. A little bit.
I got a Diglett and a Doug Trio behind me as well. They were all gifts. I didn't buy these, but they seem old. They're the Tomy figures, but they're pretty cool.
Tomy. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing them for a while. It could be one of the older ones.
But the Yu-Gi-Oh ones. This is a catapult turtle.
Oh, that's cool.
With like a plasma cannon on his back. No. Better than the cards. I could imagine there's probably some expensive ass figures out there though. They're not grading them yet, so they're not going to be stonk dog into the moon. But what do you think? I don't think they're cooler than Pokemon cards.
Ancient Mew sent me this.
Why does that look massive?
At Christmas, it is kind of big. That's what she said. At Christmas, he sent me some really nice gifts. He sent me some really nice cards and a couple of little trinkets. That are pretty cool. I've got them over there, but I put this one on display behind me, but it's like just there, like it's just cut out so you can't see it. But he gave me this Mew, and it's like it's cute. It's got little paw pads. Like, are you serious? Like, so cute. So shout out Ancient Mew, thank you. And yeah, I love them. I got like boxes and piles. I mean, I got a bunch of them behind me now, but I think they're really cute. For some reason, I don't know. I'm just drawn to them. It's just like fun. It's because they like the artwork. They're like doing something. They're normally posing, and there's like some kind of story to tell, but they're right there. It's like they're sitting there. So I love them. I don't know if I could compare them. It feels like apples to oranges to me. They're so different. My heart is probably in cards, but I do love displaying them. I like having them out where I can see them.
Would you consider like your pop figures as small figures?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
See, I wasn't. I was not. Those are too big. Old school little figures. Those are cooler than pops, in my opinion.
Oh. Hey, there you go. I need to change my camera a little bit. Yeah,
rolling deep.
I don't know. I got so much stuff. It's ridiculous. I got coins. I got a lot of coins. I like coins too. I bought some nice ones off. I think I've mentioned it before in a previous episode, but I bought some nice Pikachus that were like kind of rare from Nick, from my friend Old School, and just like random ones that I thought were cool and I liked, and ones out of boxes. And I don't know. I've got like 3 boxes full of dice. So I've got a problem. There's so much stuff. It's
Agreed.
Crazy. Yeah, it's too.
That's a lot of dice, bro. It's a lot of dice.
It's silly. Yeah, it's silly. Okay. Pokestone. My Florida man. What does Pokemon TCG collecting look like 10 years from now? I like that question. I feel like that's a good one. You want to go first?
Yeah, how old Pokestone 10 years from now? That's the first question.
I know what you're getting at.
We love you. We love you, Pokestone. You're going to be 37 10 years from now, right?
Yeah, what's that little line on the top left of a keyboard that's like about? That little about line. We'll do that.
There you go. 10 years. Wow, I'll be 42, almost 43. That's a quarter of my life from now. Couldn't imagine what life looks like in 10 years. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. Collecting Pokemon, though, I don't know if it's going to be much different. I would like to think that grading companies aren't doing stupid shit anymore. Beckett will probably be gone because they don't have a guarantee in their policies. So yeah, it'll probably just be PSA, CGC, and a bunch of small potato companies. So grading's not going anywhere. But 10 years, Pokemon has already proven to be generational. It'll be here for sure. Because like I said, I'll have 13 and a 15-year-old, and they'll probably be getting out of wanting to collect it at that point. But there will be a whole nother generation right behind them of kids wanting to get into it because of the 26-year-olds now that are inside of this hobby, and they'll have kids. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, it'll be the same, I feel like. I don't think it'll be crashed. Hopefully we get a better Pokemon video game, but it'll be the same.
So we're in our 30s and we're still buying and selling and playing around in this.
We'll have more money. We'll have more money in 10 years.
Definitely have more disposable income. I hope. Like that's the goal, right? So you got that, right? Everyone right now that's in it, like I would imagine some of those are still going to stay along or have some of their stuff or still be buying and collecting. I don't know, whatever that looks like. But then, like you said, you've got other generations, you've got other ages and new money coming in. And I think the thing with this hobby that's unlike some other hobbies is like someone buys the card or buys the slab or whatever, it's still there. It's not like, Pikachu, he likes bourbon like me, but he like buys really fancy ones that's like collectible ones. I like to buy it to drink it. Like for me, I drink it. So then that's gone. Like, I don't save all the empty bottles. Like, not that I'm going through a bottle a week, but like, I've had a lot of nice bourbons, like some really nice ones and some regular ones, whatever, and that's gone. Whereas in this hobby, it's still there. So the money is kind of like, I get, there must be a phrase in it. I'm not, an economics major or anything, but like, there's money going into it, and there's still something physically tangible, I guess, there. Like, there's something there. Even in 10 years, that card will still exist and still be there, and will potentially be liquid, be able to sell it or whatever. And I don't think you have that in a lot of hobbies. So you've got that where there's cards and boxes and slabs and whatever going to hang around, but then you've also got new money coming into that and new stuff being added. So for me, the idea of it in 10 years is hard to fathom, but what I do know is that there's going to be more of everything, not less. Like, I don't think people are going to be throwing away slabs and throwing away nice cards.
Yeah, there's and a little bit more on that. I think the money laundering could be a thing. Not a good thing, but a lot of the benefit of being able to have $250,000 be this big and not be actual cash, not be crypto with all this traceability. Like, I thought the point of crypto originally was so it wasn't traceable and shit, but you could find out the mother effer social security number as soon as he sells something. Like, it's absurd. Yeah, like, people to hide money, you could put it into trading cards, when I don't know if that will ever go away. It won't. It's kind of crazy to think about that. You could, even me, sitting here with all this different crap around me, there's a lot of, in my mind, dollar bills just sitting here, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think about it.
At a crime ring at work that a few years back that I had to work on shutting down. It took a lot of investigation, a lot of piecing together, a lot of different data points and stuff. And essentially what they were doing was buying gift cards and different kind of store credits and stuff, and moving them around. And it's a very real thing in the world. And what you're talking about is it's definitely happening right now. And we've seen glimpses of it from specific parts of the world. I'm not going to get into too much there, but there's definitely a play there. But yeah, for moving and cleaning, that's for sure. 10 years.
It'll be interesting.
I tried to work on a 5-year plan at work, and it was really hard to think what the world will be like. You think how different it is 5 years ago, and what your life is like and the world is like. And
5-year plan is absurd. That's absurd.
It's very difficult.
I'll shove that up his ass.
So 10 years is double that, and it's not double. I mean, that's almost like a 5x. Yes, I feel like it gets double each year that you try and forecast it out. It gets double as difficult to get there. I can't truly imagine it. I just know in my mind it's bigger and more money and more cards and more special things going on and more people in it than ever. I just think it's going to be big, because I think that's realistic. Yeah.
Yep.
Pokemon specifically, that is.
Okay, Mr. Pokemage 87. Another outlook here. Said most of the people who are saying to hold a sealed product for 5 to 10 years will be long gone from the hobby and sell their entire collections in less than 5 years. Less than 5 years. I would say most will sell in less than 5 years, because in the history, usually people want to just 2x their money if they can. And most booster boxes and sealed products in the history of Pokemon, give it 5 years, some bitches usually doubled. Not financial advice at all, but in the history, it is at least 5 years. Like 5 years is a long effing time. I'm almost in this 4 years. That's a long effing time. Looking back at those booster boxes and some of this other stuff is crazy. It's crazy just looking at some of the stuff that it's already 4 years old. But yeah, I do think a lot of people sell sealed product in under 5 years. The average person would. But I think there are still some of those, like to hold something 5 to 10 years and let it just appreciate on a shelf. You have a lot of disposable income. Like they can afford to do it, so they probably will.
That's kind of what I was going to touch on with my response to that. I think that most people that are buying Pokemon to invest in it to try and make some money are people. This is going to sound real spicy, but they're people that need to make money and like want to make some money. It's not just a hobby. They actually are trying to make a quick buck, and I think they're going to realize you can't just make a quick buck doing that. Like you literally have to wait 5 years for a lot of them. So for me, I think a lot of them will have the car will break down, or they need a new fridge, or they get married, or like they have the seventh kid, with the fifth baby mama, or whatever it is that's going on. Like there's life, right? Life happens. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, well, it takes a priority over this box of Darkness Ablaze. Like I'm just going to have to sell it. Like won't even be a question. They'll just sell it because there's no connection. They're just holding on to it anyway. It's just sitting in a cupboard. I think a surprisingly large amount will do that. And 5 years seems like a very long time for someone to hold on to it. That's truly trying to invest. I can't hold on to nothing. Like I've got some stuff there that I had less than a year, and all I've thought about for the last 2 weeks is how bad I want to open it. Like literally, every time I walk in this room, I'm fighting with myself, like not to open it, don't open it, don't touch it, don't touch it. So difficult. I see two boxes of celebrations right now, and I'm like, I literally want to grab it. I'm gonna be tempted in our live stream next week to want to grab something and rip it.
We're not ripping any product in our live stream. We've already promised our viewers. Come on, Mo.
Don't let me.
I'll turn your camera off. No problem.
Okay, thank you. It's real, and that's the other thing too. Like it's saying sell their entire collection. I think a lot of people will rip stuff. Like a lot of people will want a bit of nostalgia, or they'll get drunk, or they'll try and chase that one card that they never did get and they still haven't bought. Or I think there is a decent chunk of people that will rip their stuff too. Like I had a huge. I don't know if you remember in my really old videos. I had a huge ETB collection. Like for me, I thought it was huge. I had a lot, like one of everything that I could get my hands on, pretty much. And I ripped so many of them. I was like, I just want to see the cards inside. I just ripped them all. Well, I gave them away. Like I sent my Evolving Skies. I sent them to Thrifty. Like I just gifted them to I was like giving stuff away on live stream stuff. Like for me, I just want to enjoy them. Like it's just so difficult to not like enjoy them, and they'd just be sitting on a shelf. It's tough.
I got that for me.
Yep, that's a good one.
Want a Professor Oak giveaway?
Yeah, there was. I think it was all three. I'm trying to remember who won the other two. I've done so many. I love it. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 5 years. Yeah, it's hard thinking that far ahead. Okay, Johto Jake, our very good friend of the channel. Umbreon VMAX Alt Art is a junk slab. I think a lot of people are going to think that's a little bit spicy. I wouldn't buy it. Like it's not for me, honestly. Yeah, it's cool. I think it's interesting. I think part of the interest for me is how much other people like it and are interested in it. But
Yeah, I think that's just a terrible take, Jake. To be honest, that thing is probably one of the most liquid things you'll ever see. And when I think junk slab, I think illiquid, cheap Weedles, Caterpies, random ass cards. If a card is expensive, extremely liquid, like that is a form of currency. How many Umbreon Alt Art VMAXs you have? Like if you had 5 of those, you have like whatever times 5. Like it's literally as good as cash almost. Like you could throw that into an auction and you'll get full market value every day of the effing week. That card still, how long ago that set come out? Like that card still is like absurd. Anytime I get one, that son of a bitch is gone. Like low list, gone. No shot. Absurd. No way to junk slab, dude. Like, what are we doing?
Let me ask you
You're
this.
just jealous.
What if you had to choose between cards that were $20 and will go up to 30 in a year or 2 years or whatever in a certain time frame, and that same time frame you had to choose between cards buying at 20 and selling at 30, or cards buying at 300 and selling at 350?
Me, the collector, give me the F and Umbreon. Takes up less volume. It's cooler. It just
because you mentioned like liquidity and like the financial aspect there. For me, in my mind, the 300 card is more of a junk slab in the fact that it's going to do less than the $20 in the financial sense, like percentage wise and growth and ease of liquidity. Like I feel like it'd be easier even for me to sell a $20 card that goes up to 30.
no
I
way.
think there's something to it. Like I could buy 15, you know, like you can buy more. And I don't know. I'd be interested to hear some comments on that, guys.
God damn, I'm dying here. I'm dying.
Bless you.
Just sneezed like 17 effing times.
You didn't even
Pray
shout
for
me out.
No, that ain't me. Can't just copy other creators. Yeah, Joe, Jake, you're dusted, bud. Shout out Danazard. Next comment. Just so you know, the next comment, Jay Franks, his comment goes on to the next page, so it's
Okay.
a 2-pager. Danazard said, "Pal Worlds is a success because modern Pokemon games suck. Pokemon Scarlet Violet graphics are outdated, and the game is glitchy as hell. People blame it on Pokemon being kid oriented, but that's no excuse to release." Yeah, I think Pal Worlds the game is ass. To be honest, it's not Pokemon. Like the battle for me, Pokemon is the battle mechanics. Like that's turn based, basically. Give me that all day. I love that. That's my favorite part about Pokemon.
How it all started, right? That's how it all began.
Yeah.
That's what we know.
Pal Worlds, like we have Legends Arceus, like open world stuff is tough to keep on keeping on. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has done it for God, I don't even know, 10 years. That game is like real life. I don't know, there's just real life. You could create a new heist or create a new stealing cars or new gangs or casinos and so many different things. I feel like these types of games are limited to what they can keep doing year after year. And I'm getting into my spicy topic here already, so might not win, but I don't think the longevity is there for this. Like you could do Pal World 2. Like when I think open world games, I think of something that is it's going to be there for a while. They're going to keep wanting to build on it instead of releasing a new one in 2 years. They usually would just want to keep building on it and create like a battle pass and other and now they got fucking crates or whatever. Maybe they do a new Pal World Scarlet and Violet in 2 years. it could happen, I guess. That would be interesting to see them do that, and maybe they change battle mechanics. But there are some cool things inside of Pal Worlds. I saw a clip on TikTok or something where a dude could throw his pal out of a pal ball and just retreat it into the pal ball just over and over. And he's like, I've been wanting to do this for 30 years in Pokemon, and I was now able to do it with this video game where 4 dudes sat around a thing with $12,000 and made this game or whatever their budget was. But yeah, there's some cool aspects, but I don't think the longevity's there. Yeah, exactly. I don't think the longevity's there as it sits. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
graphics
obviously there's some stark differences between them. Like you say, graphics, like, if we had Rockstar, like a big developer build out a Pokemon game, it would be a different game. But I think it does strip away almost a little bit from, like you said, the roots of it, like the actual fundamentals of what built it to be successful and what made it, what it is. Otherwise, you're just kind of like I heard someone describe it. It may have been you last week, maybe been me. I don't remember. Someone saying it's like a cross between Fortnite and Pokemon. And in my head, I'm just thinking like, that's awesome, but that just kind of sounds like they're trying to make Pokemon be like Fortnite. Like, it's not its own thing. It's not unique. I feel like Pokemon games are so unique. Like, they built something we'd never seen before that was just mesmerizing. Like, I remember playing Crystal, just thinking this is absolutely magical. There's not a lot of games like that,
so it's not too creative.
Power World's fun. It's busy. There's lots happening, but it's very similar to Pokemon. It's very similar to Fortnite. It's very similar to stuff. It's not unique in that sense. It just, honestly, like it just isn't. So, but you kind of alluded to this a little bit on there maybe being like another version, Scarlet Violet, whatever, like another generation. I think the key is in the title. Like, it's called Power Worlds, right? Not Power World. So there could be other worlds. Like, that's what I envision with it, is there being other places they go or other areas to discover, like that kind of stuff. Just like in Pokemon, not worlds literally, but other locations to go. So
yeah, the name's trash. I don't know. It's still trying to grow on me, but man,
simple.
Yeah, very, very simple.
All right, Jay Franks said Pokemon is rooted in pop culture, which means its popularity is on a cycle that will likely end at some point, rendering most things that are valuable now worthless in the future. However, this will likely be some time from now, as those interested in it have decades to go before they're old and dead. But in contrast, hobbies like sports collectibles are rooted in actual history, as well as current pop culture, spotlighting actual people as opposed to mythical creatures. These fundamentals tend to keep collectibles alive and relevant longer. For me, I honestly, there's obviously a literal difference between Derek Jeter and Charizard, but like, is there? Like, if you're just collecting something that you connected to as a kid and you want a picture of that thing on a card, like, really, what is the difference, like, in someone's mind? I think it's simpler than what Jay Franks is saying. I think it's real simple. Like, honestly, yeah, it might be pop culture, but I wouldn't say people would keep sports cards alive better or whatever because then they are real. Like, there's actual real people in it. Oh.
Yeah. The issue for me is I look at comics. Those are pop culture mythical creatures. From the golden age of comics was 1938 to 1957-ish. Very relevant today in 2024. Obviously generational, then the movies started popping off, like just you had golden age, silver age, bronze age, like all these different ages of comics, and they did that on purpose because they created the silver age because the people that started with the golden age were older and they could buy them again. And they're like, hey, these guys have more money. Let's just do this again. They'll introduce it to their kids. Let's run it. They freaking just made the silver age of Batman. And they're like, wow, we're born again. And Pokemon's in the same exact hemisphere as that. Sports is just gimmicks and goats, in my opinion. It's like you only are collecting the greatest of all times. Like I just bought a Jared Goff rookie card because the Detroit Lions just had their best season since 1957. In 10 years, nobody could give a flying F about Jared Goff. He didn't win a Super Bowl yet. Because when I think about the last NFC championship the Lions went to in 1991, I probably couldn't even name the quarterback, and I can't. So in 20 years, nobody might care about that dude. So the card might be worthless unless he does something great and starts winning Super Bowls and is like a Detroit legend. Like you look at Barry Sanders, who became a Detroit legend for what he was able to do on and off the field. And sports is still, like I said, it's a lot of gimmicks. It's a lot of media. A lot more influence will probably come from like TikTok and stuff and all these people with podcasts, and dating Taylor Swift will make you relevant. Like a lot of different crap plays into sports, like the social media aspects, and people can have their own social medias and their own podcasts and their sports players and build their own rep. Whereas Pokemon, it just relies on Pokemon and what they're doing with marketing and stuff like that. So it'll follow similar trends, I think, of Marvel, and it'll do better than what Star Wars has done. But Star Wars is still very relevant. That's very, very like fantasy type crap. So yeah, I think it's way off. Way. Not even close. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else on that.
I'm just thinking about what you're saying with that sports card, and I'm trying to think of an example like your Leroy Jenkins card. In 10 years, do you think you would feel between the two any different because one is this or one is that? Like you still have that connection in some way, right? For me, it doesn't really matter what it is or if it's real or it's because of this or whatever. Like if you feel a connection to the point where you want to buy it and own that, that's in just the epitome of being a collector to me. And it's regardless. Like I have a friggin' $3 Funko Pop sat right there. Like I love it. I'm never gonna do anything with it. Like I'm always gonna have that thing. Like if it was a real person on a Funko Pop, I would feel the same. Like it just doesn't really matter as much to me. So maybe I'm oversimplifying it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think sports cards are serious gambling. Like I feel like buying any modern day sports card is like just straight gambling because you're banking on the dude to become some version of an icon. And if he doesn't, you're going to take an L. Like Lamar Jackson hasn't been to a Super Bowl. His cards sell for 3 times as much as Jared Goff's. Buying that is a serious risk. That dude could never go to a Super Bowl. And what are you doing? Like, I don't know. It's a lot and Pokemon is just Pokemon. It's just there. New games every 3 years. Like it just perpetual into oblivion.
I think serialization plays a part too. Like that has because it adds like a psychological aspect to it being rare or whatever, even though it's just a trading card, you know?
Yeah.
But good comment. I mean, it's good ones to talk on because we don't know what's ahead. I would imagine, sports cards are going to be a thing for a while. I can't imagine they're going to go away anywhere. But I also think that TCG cards, whether it's Pokemon or not, I always think we're going to have something there. Just like games, just like movies, I think they're just part of these hobbies now.
Yeah. Up next, Mr. Catchmall Collectibles. This spicy comment was actually from a couple weeks ago, and it's funny how it's kind of relevant right now. He said, I think Metazoo could have done better long term, not short, had it come out today. Also, Lorcana and One Piece would have been likelier to die if they came out when Metazoo did. I think that is not a great take from Mr. Catchmall Collectibles. Metazoo's problem was their management system and what they did and how they grew. Like, just the thinking about Lorcana and what they've done. If they did the same thing and just said, hey, we're going to make the printers go burr so people can play this game, F the collectability, whatever, like they still have like rare things in there. But they said, I don't really care if it's collectible. We're going to print these into the freaking ground so people can play it and the LGSs can get it. And we can make a freaking base just like Pokemon base set did. Print it into the effing ground so the thing's available. One Piece did not do any of that. But Lorcana, if they did that, like, good night. Like, that's huge. Just do what you did right. Make things, print them on time, fulfill your promises, and everything's going to be all right. Like, if Metazoo didn't just start skipping on delivery dates and screwing, like, Metazoo has serious problems compared to anything probably going on at Ravensburger or at One Piece at Bandai. So I think that's rough. There's no shot that's comparable at all. I think One Piece and Metazoo, if they came out 3 years earlier, they'd be. I couldn't imagine where they'd be right now. The future is bright.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think I agree. I think, to be super blunt, I don't think Metazoo holds a candle to Lorcana or One Piece. I don't think it's anywhere close. If you look at a Metazoo card and the artwork and the format physically to look at, and then you look at a One Piece or a Lorcana card, the quality is, I mean, it's like a kid versus like AI. Like, it's like just completely different levels. These One Piece cards and Lorcana cards, they're incredible to look at. They're absolutely immaculate, stunning, amazing artworks, cool, action-packed. A lot of the One Piece ones are like very complex and fun cards. Metazoo, they're not amazing, crazy, like mind-blowing artworks. Some of the ones that I have, I can't even really tell what's happening or what it is that I'm looking at. Like, they're not even very clear to understand, like, visually. They're just not great. So I think that's another aspect of it too. Just poor execution, not just in the management, like you said, which is the business side, but the actual product. I do think it was poorly executed, because in reality, who doesn't love UFOs? Who doesn't love, like, blue ox thing if you're from the area? The idea behind it is, I think, what drove most of its success, not what they actually did with it. I don't think the cards or the artworks or the game was a primary factor in its success. I think it was the idea of, like, this is cool to talk about this cryptid from this thing. Oh, this cryptid, I love that. Oh, I love Bigfoot. It was the fact that it was Bigfoot, not the fact that it was Metazoo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, nowhere close. Like, I just think Metazoo is the Dollar General, compared to Harrods.
Yeah, Ravensburger and Bandai are companies. Metazoo is a card game ran by nerds into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 100 years worth of every generation that's alive right now has seen a movie that is probably an O'Connor, right? Like there's so much possible connection there, such a quality IP it's connected to, with so many good memories and emotions, and then you got One Piece that is a fantastic artwork in the cards, but also connected to a brilliant game. A brilliant anime show and a brilliant live action show. You know, I watched all the episodes, enjoyed that. It's just like it's nowhere near. It's not even the same stratosphere, honestly, in my mind. Sorry, Dan. I know you love Metazoo. Catch more collectibles again. He said the whole PSA is easier or harder today versus PSA, and PSA versus CGC versus BGC, blah blah blah. He said all these companies are just horrible and inconsistent at grading. Yeah. He said it'll always give us something to talk about. They're consistent enough for the market, though, given we can't stop giving them our money. I mean, I bought a PSA 9 the other day, and the front looks fantastic. It's absolutely gorgeous. Immaculate. I mean, it looks like a 10 from the front, but the back, I ain't a 9. Like, it definitely ain't a 9. And I've graded cards like that too. You know, it's tough. I had one get a 10, and I was like, I literally have no idea how this got a 10. It had like 5 white spots. I showed it in a video like 2 years ago. I had 5 big white spots on the back on a Pikachu. It's like I literally don't know how this is a 10. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I feel like they all do it. I've seen it across a lot of grading companies. Very inconsistent. But also on the flip side, I think there is consistency in the fact that they're inconsistent almost. Like, I know that I shouldn't take it to heart that one is a 10 because it's just that one person's opinion. Like, they're not doing QA check 2 and stuff. Like, there's no double checks. We already know that. There's cards upside down, there's cards that are damaged and graded wrong. So I like just take it for what it is, you know, that kind of thing. So, well, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think they are harder at grading today or anything?
Yeah, standards have changed. We know when they changed at CGC. That's pretty much mostly announced. Standards have changed there. The PSA standards have changed big time. It's not just a bunch of bullshit. I think it's a real thing. Like, I look at these people with 2x cert PSA collections. Those are modern day CGC Gem Mint 10 collections. Like, they're not like the people now. Like, if you like the people that are collecting PSA 10s nowadays, they want no whitening on the back of them. They want like almost a perfect card. Like, if it doesn't look that way, they're like, that's not a good 10. That's not a good 10. That's a bad 10.
10's black label in their mind.
Their standards for Gem Mint 10s back then was wider. You would get more 10s. Gary King Pokemon graded a ton of pack fresh first edition base set cards. Most of those cards are not Gem Mint 10 cards. Most of them out of the pack, they probably average an 8 or a 9. The print quality was not good. And just back in the day, he had showed some of his screenshots of his submissions. The amount of 10s was absurd. Not realistic at all. Like, it's crazy. I understand they're packed fresh, but to today's standards, they're not Gem Mint 10s. Things have changed. Now, of course, there are old 2 certs that are perfect looking cards in those slabs. They do exist, but their 10 standard was wider back then. And then a 9 back then, yikes. I stay away from them most of the time. I try to. I don't know. Things have changed. PSAs have been a lot less announced, publicized. Hey, these grading standards have changed. That is not a thing. CGC, a little bit more announcing kind of things are changing. But yeah, agree to disagree, Dan. Miss Katie Lowen. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think there's, I don't know.
He's in denial. He's in denial.
He does say it gives us something to talk about. I think we'll always be talking about it. I think it's always going to be a thing. I think in a year's time, or in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, people will get a couple of bad grades, or they'll get a couple that like look really good for what they are, that kind of stuff, and it will be, oh, it's changed again. And for me, it's like, yeah, I just think that is how it is. Like, that's the consistency for me. The fact that it is like that, you know.
Yeah, and one of the issues with PSA now, modern day PSA, Gem Mint 10, you still do get some that come through the ranks that don't deserve 10s. So then they're like, oh, those look like the 2X cert 10s. Like, how'd that get a 10? Bitch, you don't have a 9.5 grade. No wonder you got so many 10s that look like it's insane. They complain, like, how did this get a 10? It's because you don't have a 9.5, and like they're pretty much fence sitting what the grade should be, and they're like, I guess it'll be a 10 today because I got laid last night. Like, it's interesting. But they were more lenient. 10s, the scale for 10s was wider back in the day.
That's an interesting thought. Do you think there's graders at PSA that wish there was a 9.5 option?
No. As a grader, no. Their job's easier.
Is it?
Yeah, I think there being less numbers for them to have to pick, it makes their job easier. The only people that would want it would be the collector, but the collector don't want it because they like big numbers because they make big money when the number's bigger. So if the people cared about the condition and the grade being more accurate, which nobody does, they care about money and the number being as big as possible, which is why CGC now has Gem Mint 10s and Pristine 10s, and they got rid of the perfect grade because they get more big numbers. The cards sell for more. Instead of giving out so many 9.5s, they're giving out more 10s. Like, give the people what they want. They want big numbers. So nobody will ever want a PSA 9.5, even though it makes sense. That should probably exist to do some balance between the 9 and the 10. Because if you look at video game grading, 9.0, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, 9.9, 10. Whoa. They go down to like 2.5. They break it down by the 0.2s between 9 and 10. You imagine if PSA did 9.2s and 9.4s like their brother WADA, owned by the same company? Yikes. That would be insane. Got this 9.4 Charizard. The SGC used to grade cards like comics. They would give them the weird numbers like that, the 88 and the 98s and the 76s. Like, it was pretty interesting to look at some of those older slabs.
I forgot that. It was a while back. I remember that though.
Yeah. Yep. Do a couple more here. Katie Lowen. She said people are sleeping on collecting cell phones. Oddly enough, I've always been a phone guy. Started with when I was 16, T-Mobile illegally sold me a phone contract. I got my own phone contract at 16. Got a BlackBerry. I was working probably 30 hours a week while I was going to school at Pizza Hut. Had the money for it, $100 a month. Got a smartphone, which was freaking dope. I've looked up, down, sideways, looking for BlackBerries, sealed. Other phones I've owned in the past, sealed, trying to find them. Them sons of bitches are tough to find. There's a phone called, I think it was called the HTC Dream, the G1, the first ever Android phone. Huge fan of that phone. It had the QWERTY keyboard that slid up. Oh my God, that phone was filthy. I would love to have one of those sealed, but it just doesn't exist. I'm not sleeping on collecting phones. I feel like people, like, we all have some issues, obviously, in our brains for us to be thinking about this stuff, I feel like, but they're like museum pieces. Like, I walked through the museum in Detroit and they got the history of the iPhone. Shit's crazy. What do you think? People are sleeping on them?
I thought I was in the future when I got that G1 phone. back in the day. I literally felt like I was living in the future.
Exactly, dude. I remember the
Blew my mind.
Flickster app. I was getting at. Oh my god. Like I had a BlackBerry, which was a smartphone. I had Maps and Google and everything, but I didn't have like apps.
Yeah.
It didn't have Android Play Store and stuff like that. That was some next level stuff.
Yeah, I remember playing games on it every single night and just texting people on the little keyboard thing.
Yep.
Oh my god, I loved that phone so much. It was brilliant. Yeah. Oh, flashback. Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a couple of recent sales. I think the first iPhone sold recently for like some crazy amount. It was like 30 grand or so, I don't remember. It was like some insane amount of money just a couple of weeks back. And then I think there's a couple of others that I saw that sold. They were sealed, obviously, like you were saying. I think it's interesting. And again, I think it all speaks to nostalgia. I don't know how many people will be nostalgia for an iPhone 13 XB or whatever, all these fancy models that are out right now.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Same, though.
I think the challenge we have for that going forward is if there's a new innovative phone that comes out that like really changes the game, no one's going to keep it sealed because it's going to be like $1,000 phone. Like you're not going to buy a $1,000 phone and then stick it in your cupboard for 20 years. Like I just don't think people can do that, and I think that's why you can't find any right now because they were expensive back in the day, to buy. And like, who would have bought a phone and then not used it? It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the phones are interesting. I was just looking up like the release date of like a Galaxy S10 because eventually they just became the slab format. They all look the same, and after they've kind of peaked the design of the phone, it didn't feel so bad to have the same phone for 3 years now. Like this S22 looks goddamn similar to what the S24 is doing. Like usually now it's like small little changes they're doing either to the Play Store to the cameras, and it's small things changing. For a while there, every year the new iPhone, the new Galaxy was a significant change. Like the bezel's increasing, it's wrapping the screen, it's aluminum, it's glass. Like there was tons and tons of innovation every year to where it finally got to like an optimized point. So now it's kind of waiting for that next wave, like you're talking about. So it'll be interesting to see what's next. I'm curious. They keep getting thinner, but they can't go too thin because then it'll bend in your pocket. They experience that with the iPhone 13 or some shit. But yeah, it's phones are cool, man. I like electronics.
I do wish it was a little bit lighter. My iPhone, it is heavy.
Yeah,
but you need, I guess, a glass screen and glass back and a big battery. Like, excuse me. I guess that's just kind of like part of it because you need that stuff, like you say, for it to keep battery and stuff. Wow.
Official unboxing.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one that I had. There was a few similar models. I think mine might have been a crappier one.
It was the BlackBerry Gold.
Oh, it was definitely had that one.
This is touchscreen. This is touchscreen.
Yeah,
this was fancy as shit when it came out. And I just got a new thing. I forgot I have like a box of electronics. I have a problem. That'll look good.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Thanks, Katie.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, I had that one. I feel like that was really expensive.
I bought this one like 3 years after it came out because I needed a backup. My phone broke and I bought an old one off eBay to last me. For some reason I had to wait like 2 weeks to get a new one for a refurb or something. So I got a quick fix off eBay way back in the day. My eBay's old, 2009 origin date.
So you didn't just buy that one? You've had that one?
Yeah, I've had that one for a while. It wasn't my original BlackBerry Pearl from 2000 whatever, but yeah, I've had this one for a while.
Well, I wonder if we'll get any graded, especially if they're sealed.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Blackberries were iconic.
X-ray it and see if it's inside, I guess.
There was a Blackberry movie, I think, that came out and I never saw. I need to go see that now. Reminding myself.
I don't know if I'm aware of that. Yeah, let's look it up. Okay, let's do
one more.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one after, but that one's silly. Okay, Swami, my wonderful friend, Mr. Swami. Yu-Gi-Oh! Going to blow up eventually, and anyone that thinks otherwise needs to sell their Metazoo now, right now.
My dude.
I wish I had Swami's humor. He's so freaking hilarious. I don't think it needs to blow up. I think it's already popular. I think a lot of people like it, and a lot of people play it and enjoy the game and the show and stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs to, but it could. They'd have to do something special, I think. Maybe like a new movie or an amazing game made by Rockstar. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the collectability of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trash. And just to put the perspective to people, Swami's comment, this is from a few weeks ago. So in this comment a few weeks ago, he said, sell their Metazoo now. And people probably should have listened. It's crazy that the timing of that comment's hilarious. Yeah, the collectability of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now is trash. Like the number of collectors, like there are people collecting PSA 10s of like old school stuff and some ultra modern stuff, but man, it is dark. PSA 9s sell for way less than usually raw, to be honest. Usually Yu-Gi-Oh! People are buying PSA 9s for their binder sets, which is insane to me. As a Pokemon collector, vintage Pokemon collector, like 9s, like people cracking PSA 9 like Aquapolis would be insane to me.
Yeah. Is it auctions specifically where it's doing bad? Because I feel like if it's that bad at buy it now, I would just crack it and try and sell raw. You know, if they're doing bad in Slabbed.
It's honestly it's a play probably in some cards for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Especially cards being played in vintage formats. Like I've bought cards in PWCC and other stuff where it's a graded card that's it's played big time in vintage formats, not in modern. So the collectors aren't looking for the low grade PSA 4, but if I crack that bitch out, that is a ultra expensive card to be played in this deck. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times and it's a play.
That makes sense. I wish I knew more about it. I mean, I loved the show as a kid. I used to watch it all the time. But I just never, I was never exposed to the cards. You know, we didn't have them for sale. I'd never seen anyone with them. I didn't even know it was a thing till I came to America, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the show's awesome. They're doing good things.
I loved it. Yeah, it was fun. Very intense, dramatic. Like it was very like, the battles were like, oh my God. And then something crazy would happen and it cut to break and I'd have to watch damn commercials about like, you know, dumb stuff back in the day. But all right, you got any others that you want to jump on or you want to call it?
No, that's it, man. I appreciate it was good talking to you, good catching up. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope everyone did too. I think it's fun. I'm really excited for next week. I hope everyone else is. So give us a thumbs up before you click out the video here. And don't forget to leave your spicy topic. May or may not do a giveaway of a card next week. That should be fun. So, yeah, we'll see. Thanks, everyone.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.